Welcome back, y'all. Really exciting video today. ThermalMaster reached out to me. They sent me this unit right here. It is a T2 Max thermal imaging camera. They want me to shoot a review on it. This thing has so many tools and gadgets. They say it's a, oh, I gotta get that. That cow's peeing. Give me a second here. I missed most of that, I apologize. I caught the tail end of it, so you'll see a little bit of that right there. But this camera, they call it a 20-in-1. It's got so many little tools, it's incredible. Oh, here comes a buzzard. Can I see him? Oh, I absolutely can. Look at him flying. Anyway, enough talk. We're gonna go through all of the little gadgets and widgets with this thing. I played with it at my house, filming my dogs. I played with it with these cows here, a couple trucks driving by, stuff like that. Y'all are probably more interested in actually seeing footage and me putting it to the test than me talking about it, so let's get out there. First thing, we're gonna film some cows at different distances. I wanna show y'all how far out this thing reaches. Apparently up to 1,600 yards, which is incredible. And then we're probably gonna throw it on a 300 blackout, see how it handles recoil. Let's get to it. It's been about a week. I wanted to really familiarize myself with the camera before I actually started showing y'all footage of cows and all the features of the camera. I shot it on my 300 blackout a little bit last week. I killed a pig with it. I'm gonna do some additional testing with that later, probably tomorrow, and you'll see why. I've got it on my 22 now, works wonderfully. I've shot a whole bunch of rats, and I'm gonna continue to shoot a bunch of rats. I got a pile of them right over there. But let's go through the features of this camera. Real quick, if you don't care about the features portion of this video, I've segmented out the video below. You just scroll to where it says shooting or something like that, and you can skip all this. Before we dive straight into the features, specifically that guy right there, that blue camera, the recording feature, I want to let y'all know that one, this camera does not have an onboard or an internal microphone. Not a huge deal. You still pick up the video. Any audio that y'all are hearing throughout this video is going to be from my GoPro here. And two, when you record with a thermal camera, you're going to lose quite a bit of resolution. That's the case across the board. It's not just this camera that happens to. I've got a very expensive thermal in the truck, and it still happens to that camera. Not only are you going to lose resolution through the recording, I'm uploading this to YouTube, I'm going to lose a little bit more. So don't get too caught up in what the footage looks like. Just know that in person, even on the GoPro here, very clear, you can clearly see what's going on. More than adequate, especially for a $400 camera. All right, let's dive into the features. For showing you the actual features, I'm gonna have to use the GoPro because when you record, the record function doesn't actually pick up the little buttons on the sides. But to start recording or to take a photo, you just click that camera right there in the top left, click it. You have three options. You have a camera, which is just a picture, if I want to take a picture of those cows, which I just did right there, and I'll pop it up on the screen for you. If you want to record, you press the middle button. It's a little, I guess a record button. It's got a little play button in the middle, and that records for you, which is what we're doing right now. Kind of move it around for you. Don't worry too much about this setting I have right now. It's a very interesting setting that I like for spotting cows. We're gonna go all through the camera settings here in a little bit. Back to the GoPro. On the bottom, you have your gallery. If you want to click that, you can see all of the photos that you've taken, all the videos that you've taken, and you can play them right here on the screen. It's starting to sprinkle a little bit. I apologize if some water gets in the microphone or anything like that. Now that second button down right there is a hotspot locator. So if you click that, it turns blue, just like that, and it finds you the hottest spot on the screen. Currently, just looking at that cow right there. Next down the list, right there in the middle, is the X3 button. It's blue right now because I've got it selected. So what the X3 button does, it's the super IR resolution button. And this camera by itself is a 256 by 192 resolution camera. It's a pretty basic camera. Now that X3 button, that super IR resolution, if you click that, and I personally just leave it on at all times, it really cleans up the screen, and it uses some sort of software that bumps up the resolution to 512 by 384. Under your image enhancement button, you have the shutter, the physical shutter reset button that you can press, and we'll hear it click right here, hopefully. If y'all could hear that click, what that's doing on the screen is just resetting the frame. If there's any streaks or hot spots that you don't want on the screen, you can press that and it will reset fresh. Moving up to the top right, you have the color palettes option. There are several, as you can see on the right. We're gonna come back to that when I'm actually recording on the screen because I want to cover each one of them. A couple of them are really cool. Under the color options, you've got the reticle right there. So if I press it right now, my white reticle disappears. If I press it again, it pops back up with some options down in the bottom right. I'm not going to modify it right now because it is zeroed for this 22 and I'm shooting very small rats, so I don't want to get off zero. But there's several reticle options. You can change the color, the style, and it's super user friendly to just move around the screen. In fact, let me show you real quick. There's a little lock button right there. If you press that, it would unlock it. You can either use those arrows to move it around or drag it. Moving on, just below the reticle right there, you have the camera modes. Let's open that up. You have 3 different modes. Currently, I'm in the red one, which is highlight mode. It'll help your target stick out a little bit more, like that cow right over there. Below that is the high definition mode, if you want to see, you know, the trees a little bit better, stuff like that. And then at the top is a little ninja. I don't know how clear that is for y'all, but if you press that, your buttons go black or blue, the screen dims a little bit. It's to keep you a little stealthy at night, a little more camouflage. Let's get highlight mode back on really quick. Sorry about my disgusting thumb on the screen. I slammed it in a door. Here, we'll switch hands so you don't have to see that anymore. We're back to highlight mode. Below highlight mode, we have the rangefinder and a distance measuring device. Both of those aren't going to work for me because I don't have the added on rangefinder. You can purchase that separately. It'll be in the links later on. You can zoom by pinching the screen just like that. We're actually gonna switch straight into in-house video now. We'll be using the audio from the GoPro, but I want to go over all the color modes really quick. Actually, before we move straight into that, I want to show y'all, if you're hunting and you're not worried about having all these widgets up, just double click the screen. Goes full screen for you. Okay, let's dive straight into the color modes. Let's actually start with my least favorite, green hot. Still does a pretty good job of picking it up, but I think for green hot, this camera does a really good job at distance like that. All right, let's move on to the, I think this is the lava color, the iron red hot. Never been a huge fan of all the colors on the screen. Still works. If this is your thing, then absolutely it works. Just kind of scan around the lake real quick. Maybe we'll get lucky, see a pig. I do have an AR in the car. Let's move on to red hot. I think it's gonna be red hot. Yeah, that's red hot. Very cool, very clear where the hot things are, even the white stuff. So red hot typically has a white outline, as you can see on those, I almost called them pigs, on those cows. If you come over here, you can see some red, but on that smaller cow further out, it's just mostly white, although you still got the red. All right, now my favorite daytime color is gonna be black hot. You got all that white in the background. The black stands out really well. I don't like using this at night because that white really illuminates your face, even if it's through a scope, especially with this screen it would. But during the day, fantastic. Very clear. Seeing those cows perfectly. And then next up is gonna be your traditional white hot. And the reason I'm saying traditional is I'm gonna cover it in a second and kind of show you. You've had a preview, but I'm gonna explain what's going on. I really like that white hot. In the summer, trees will absorb all this heat from the sun during the day, and all those mesquite trees back behind those cows would, I mean, kind of blend in with the cows, make it difficult to see. So oftentimes I have a hard time seeing targets in the mesquite trees. Now, that's not a problem today because they're cold, but let's go ahead and cancel out the noise with a white hot filtered background. Look at that. I don't know what y'all are seeing on the screen here. I'm gonna go over to the GoPro real quick. Look how clear it is. So from white hot filtered background to white hot regular, you got the trees and then it cancels them out. So it picks the hottest spots and really focuses on them. And not only that, but I can see through some trees back there. Those cows are back in mesquite trees. Look, the reflection off the water for that one. It's high quality stuff. So this would be something that I would use at night, especially for spotting fields and stuff. And then maybe switch to one of the other settings if I want to get a good judge of distance or more quality out of it. Let's do the black hot with the white background. Wow, during the day, that is just, yeah, that's what I was using earlier, y'all. And I gotta say, it's very good, very high quality. Before we move on and I actually start shooting a little bit, I want to show you all the zoom feature as it would look through the scope. at least the recorded. Remember, this is recorded footage. The resolution is lower than what you're seeing in person. So you just pinch the screen with your 2 fingers and you can start zooming. Here, we'll zoom in. This is an unloaded gun. The bolt is out. We'll zoom in on that big old cow right there. Now you can go in. I'm just doing it nice and slow for you. I'm at 6 times. Here, let's go up a little higher. We'll probably just go all the way to 15. You can zoom all the way to 15 times. It is a digital zoom, so you're gonna lose quite a bit of resolution as you zoom in because it is digital. You're zooming in and losing pixels basically. But look at that. 15 times. And those cows are actually behind trees, so I'm looking at them in person and I can barely see them because of the trees. Crazy cool. Done with the features. Let's skip, or I guess rewind to last week when I shot it a little bit, and I'm about to shoot it a little bit more. There's some rats running around over here. Enjoy the shooting part. This is my CZ457. It's a 22. I think I've got this thing zeroed. Let's go ahead, and I'm shooting a black target. I'm sorry, I'm shooting a cold target, so it appears as black out there. Let's put 5 or 6 right in the middle. So it looks like my sight might be a little high, but for guessing where the center is, 6 like that, I'm pretty happy with that. It seems to be holding 0. Let's back up. Let me really fine tune it. Let me get a smaller target. I might spray paint that and we'll try to put 6 right in the middle right there. I moved up to about the distance I plan on shooting rats from. I believe I've got it sighted in. Let's go ahead and put 5 in the middle of the head. Let's make sure we're staying nice and zeroed. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one was a little left by me. 5. Let's go check it out real quick. Should all be smack right in the head area. I think that stuff flying out, I don't know what it is. It might just be barrel obstruction, like some old unburnt powder. That happens a lot with suppressors. Oh baby, I gotta say, y'all, staying nice and zeroed, no problems. We're gonna have a heck of a rat shoot tonight. I cannot wait. It is gonna get really, really windy tonight. It's gonna get freezing cold. So this rat shoot will probably be over the course of a few days. But see y'all when the rats start moving. Dude. That was the very first shot. This is going to be extremely effective. There's one running around over there too. This guy's head is on the left, right? There. His head's gonna be on the left side there. Ooh, that thump. Come on out. Golly, that's a big one. We'll try the red hot for this one. Ow. It's sharp. Let's do green hot for this one. Definitely works, look at that. Let's actually get a little closer. I want to get some good detailed footage. Wait till he moves. I want to get a good idea of where his head is. I'm guessing right there. I need you to move a little bit, buddy. I'm gonna look for a stick to throw over there, get him to move, so we can get some good movement on camera. Or here, a clump of dirt might work. Yeah, that worked. So now we know where his head is. I think he's smaller than we think. Let's see if I can't pull that shot off. Yeah, see, they kick like that sometimes, but his head is, I mean, his skull is gone. Oh, boy, they look so much bigger on the scope, let me tell you. I think I'm gonna start confirming their size because I don't really want to shoot these little tiny ones. I want the big ones. There's no audio for these next two clips because I was on a FaceTime group call with my buddies, showing them the camera, sharing the screen while I was shooting rats. It was pretty fun. And I shot this guy twice because I thought I missed the first time because he just wasn't moving, but hit him both times. I originally set out to only shoot the invasive larger rats. I think they're Norway or roof rats. I ended up running out of them pretty quick and was just shooting field mice, at which point I decided to call it quits. I'm gonna stop because I think I killed all the big ones over here and all I'm seeing now are those little ones. Here, let's go look at the rat pile. Tomorrow, I'm going duck hunting. I'll bring the thermal and I'll swap it out onto my 300 blackout. I'll bring some steel and I'll modify it to hopefully make it work. And we'll see how that goes tomorrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm gonna bag those up. That's actually really good catfish bait. And I don't like wasting them. So yeah, I guess I'll see you on the morning. See you then, bye. This is my 300 blackout. I put that camera on here. I took it shooting. I've shot it hundreds of times with this camera on there. There's some good and there's some bad. Before I tell you the bad, I just want you to know that it does hold a 0. Shot a whole bunch of steel with it. I went out and shot a pig that night with it as well. I'll include that footage. I don't think there's any audio. I screwed up with my GoPro and just forgot to start recording, but here's the video of me shooting the pig. You'll notice that there's a white blur as soon as I pull the trigger, and that's kind of what I want to go over. The camera struggles with recoil. So let's test that out a little bit here. Let's see how hard you have to hit it to get it to freeze up. Let me strap this to my head real quick and we're gonna bang my gun on the ground a few times. Gun is completely unloaded, no magazine. I'm going to bash it into the ground a few times and just see how hard I have to hit it on the ground to replicate the frozen screen. Okay, that was pretty hard. It froze. I'll hit it a little bit. I mean, it wasn't that hard. Didn't even pull the bolt back all the way. Let's refresh it and do it again. I'll hit it softer this time. Okay, it didn't freeze up that time, but it also didn't cycle the bolt. I'm guessing I have to, if it's cycling the bolt, then it's quite a bit of force with the recoil there. So let's hit it a little bit harder. I moved the bolt a little bit and it froze. Okay, so yeah. Let's try some different stuff. What if I'm not recording? What if it's the video software that's doing it? Oh, I'm flying. That was on me. I didn't have this thing tightened. Yeah, it's not the video software. It's still doing it. There are some recoil sensitivity issues. Not a huge deal. The reason I'm saying it's not a huge deal, because it normally would be if you would have to turn the camera off and on, and it probably isn't holding zero. But it does hold a zero. I was shooting steel. I killed a pig. I shot 100, 200 rounds with it, and it was still holding a zero. I had it on that 22 just rattling around in my truck all over the ranch, and it still held zero enough to kill those little tiny itsy bitsy field mice. And the next reason it's not a big deal is to fix that blank screen. You don't have to turn the camera off and on. You don't have to reset it. All you got to do is press the shutter refresh button in the bottom left, and it's fixed within a second. Super quick. Is it something I would put on an AR-15 and chase pigs with out in the middle of the field? Probably not, but I wouldn't be buying something like this to do that anyway. If I was buying a dedicated thermal optic, it would be a dedicated thermal optic. This is something that for me is going to be for scanning fields. When I take people hunting, I can show them the screen, I can share the screen, take pictures with my phone. I really think that for $500, or actually the $400, it's a total steal. Hup, hup. There he comes. Before we wrap up the video and I give my final thoughts on this camera, I want to shoot a couple shots with it and then compare them to a couple shots that I take with another thermal camera that I bought last year that cost me about $500. So there's old Boaz, my older chocolate lab, that little patch on his right leg there. It's cool that this camera picks it up. It's from surgery. He had some anesthesia on his leg. There's my truck. Y'all have seen plenty of footage with this camera. Let's swap over and show y'all what, you are right up on me, right up on my feet. See, there's my foot right there. I'll show y'all what the footage with the other camera looks like, and I'll actually name the camera because I forget what it is. It's an AGM something. All right, this is an AGM TM10. It's also a 256 resolution camera. Here the dogs are at about, not very far. I mean, Bo here's maybe 10 yards. Jake is about 20 now. I'm backing up. You can barely see him up against that house with that camera, with that mode that blocks out the background. I bet you'd pick him up a lot better. Let's see if we can't get some distance shots and compare the two cameras really quick. This is off my back porch. That big barn there is my neighbor's field. This is the AGM camera. Ran me about $550 a year ago. I think that those blobs on the left of that barn are longhorns. I can't really tell. Let's break out the ThermalMaster. Here's the ThermalMaster with that same shot. It's actually picking up the hot spots a lot better, and it's kind of dimming out the dark spots. I like that. So that might just be a tractor there. I can identify it a little bit better with the ThermalMaster camera. Super, super clear. Let's go ahead and do the noise canceling is what I'm calling it. Changing it to the background canceling. Yeah, look at that. If I'm scanning the fields at night, just looking for hogs and stuff, that's perfect, man. It cancels out all those other things. You can still barely see that phone tower back there. You see those houses on the hill that stand out really well. Those are super far away. So really this is running just as good, if not better, than a camera at a higher price point. Very nice. Neither of those units has an internal microphone, so the audio you're hearing is coming directly from my GoPro for both of those units. I will say each has a positive and negative. So the positive for the AGM is it's got an internal screen. It has you pay $550 for the unit. You got the camera, you got the screen, all the buttons included are right there on the device. You don't need an external viewing device. The T2 Max does not come with an integrated viewing screen. If you see this cord right here, it comes down, the end of it goes to a USB-C right there. The good news is, if you are an Android user, you just plug this directly into your phone, download the app smack it right on there, and you've got a fully operable thermal device. If you're an iPhone user like myself, you're gonna have to get a screen that is compatible with the T2 Max, whether that's some old Android lying around, or, and I can't list the price off the top of my head, I'll put it up on the screen. There's an option to buy the camera with this right here, which is the Titan Pad Plus viewing screen. So with the separate viewing device included, it bumps the price up a little bit, makes it a little more comparable in price to the AGM device. However, I want to rewind and go over the pros for this over the AGM. The T2 Max does a really good job of highlighting heat sources and bringing them forward out of the environment, or separating them from the background. What I mean by that is the footage of the AGM footage of Jake, my chocolate lab, and I'll bring it up against the garage. The garage is white, Jake is white, everything's warm and hot, and we can clearly see Jake, but he's only 20 yards away. If we back it off about 200 yards, I'm probably not going to be able to see Jake. The T2 Max will separate Jake from the garage, and I'll get some footage of the T2 Max with Jake in the same position. It will show the hot garage as warmer because Jake is hotter, and it will outline Jake a little bit better. Bo had that shaved patch on his arm, his bare skin, it highlights that. It'll highlight the dog's eyes, their nose. It picks the hottest sources and tries to highlight them out of whatever they're in. So a hog in mesquite trees, after a long hot summer day, those mesquite trees with the AGM will just be solid white, and I won't be able to see the pig. However, with the T2 Max, it will dim those trees a little bit and really highlight that hog. Not only is it a thermal monocular, it can also be used as a scope. Y'all saw me put it on my 22. I killed all those rats with it. I put it on my 300 blackout, and I killed a pig with it. The negative, which we already covered, is it does have some issues with sensitivity to recoil. The screen goes blank, you got to reset it. Not a huge deal, but I would say that is somewhat of a major drawback if you're looking for a dedicated thermal scope. This is not going to be a dedicated thermal scope. So what is it and who's it for? Well, really for me, I enjoy taking people out and showing them what I do, whether that's recording footage of me hunting or fishing and uploading it to YouTube, or physically taking them out with me and doing it with them. This thing is awesome for that. That screen, I can slap it right there. I can show them exactly what I'm looking at night, instead of saying, hey, look, he's right up here in front of me. Very, very quietly come up here. There's gonna be a big wallowing. He's about 50 yards. Let's move up real quick. Give me a second. Two of them right here, right here. Step over. You're gonna have to turn your light on and shoot. Right down in front of us. Turn your light on and shoot. I've done that. It's almost impossible to show people what you're looking at without having them actually look through the scope. You hand it over to them, the pig runs off. This gets rid of that. I can hold it up. I can say, hey, look, 3 pigs right over there about 100 yards. Let's move that way. And they know exactly what I'm looking at. It's got incredible eye relief. Instead of holding a monocular up to my eye and scanning around and losing all my night vision by doing that, because if you've ever looked through one of those and you got it on your face, you move it away, you can't see anything at night. You just lose all that night vision. Having the screen over here instead, dimly lit, and just scanning it out away from my body a little bit is gonna be huge. Handing it to my buddy to scan for me so I can also see what's on there. I can't wait to take this up to duels and smack some pigs with it. For me, it's a designated scanning device, spotting device, finding animals device. I'm not ever gonna put it on a heavy caliber rifle because of this freezing screen. It can work on a bolt action rifle because it holds a 0. So if your rifle's very precise, if you're gonna kill that animal on the first shot, it would definitely work for you. I will never do that, only because my recording, my YouTube channel, the video footage, I want to be smooth all the way through. Shot, kill, see the animal dropping, and then get footage of that. That's the only reason I'm not gonna use it for that. I will use it on a 22 for shooting more rats. Duel's got a big old skunk infestation up where he lives, so look forward to that coming out probably here in a couple months. If you're interested in the camera, I am sponsored. I will link it down below. There are different options. For just the camera, you can get it for $400. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. There's also options for the camera and the viewing device, and the camera and the laser rangefinder as well. All of those can be found in that link that I've linked down below. If you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't like. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Thank you again to Thermal Master for sending me the T2 Max. This little guy is gonna get a whole bunch of screen time coming up this summer. I'm gonna kill a whole bunch of pigs with it. Can't wait. And guys, I'll catch y'all then.